Hey y'all, I'm Morgan, this is Sean, and we're from charlestoncrafted.com. One of our most popular videos is a review of the Mockingbird stroller. We actually have two videos. We've reviewed the single stroller and this one, which is a single to double stroller. We have used and love both of them.
We love this stroller, but we've gotten a lot of questions about how this Mockingbird stroller compares to other strollers that have a more long-standing brand recognition on the market. So we borrowed this Baby Jogger City Select from a friend so that we could compare them for you. So let's show you a couple of the key features between the two.
So let's start with just kind of the looks factor. So you can see that one thing that I love about the Mockingbird right off the bat, it's black, it has leather handles. It comes, everything you see is what comes standard when you buy the double stroller with a second seat attachment. So both the second seats are separate purchases, but this is what comes standard with that. I just love how the Mockingbird looks, and I'm jumping off on that, giving it some love. That's the main reason we bought our Mockingbird to begin with, because I think it looks really luxe. And I think this leather goes a long way. You get it brown or black leather. I love the brown leather. And I think it looks really high end.
It's also customizable with the pattern on the inside of the canopy. So
yeah,
that's really nice.
Cool.
The City Select so far, we thought this is just looks a little bit more utilitarian, a little bit more standard. Just here's a stroller, get it done, everything. You can pick a couple of color options, but the whole thing just kind of looks more techy and less luxury smooth.
Yeah, and you can see it has the rubber handle instead of the leather, and it didn't come with these handles for the kids. I'm not sure what these are called, like hold bars. Yeah. It did not come with those.
Yeah. So aside from that, they both have the two seats, and they both have a bassinet attachment, which we have for the Mockingbird. And there's a lot of different configurations for both. You can have the seats facing each other, both facing forward, both facing back, do a lot of different things. But the configurations are very limited when it comes to the bassinet. With the Mockingbird, the bassinet can only face backward, and the seat also face backward on the bottom.
Yeah, the bassinet has to go on the top.
Yeah,
it cannot fit on the bottom. We've tried really hard.
Yeah, and we don't like that. We don't like how our son is facing the back of the bassinet. It's not a great look for him. He doesn't seem as comfortable. But the bassinet is also a short-term thing versus two seats is a long-term thing. However, with the City Select, they do have a configuration where you can have the seat up top facing forward and the bassinet down on the bottom.
So that's a pro.
That's a pro for sure.
But if you don't need the bassinet, if you're just using two single seats, which I think we switched Luke to a single seat when he was like 4 months old.
Something like that.
So after your kids are 4 months old, the configurations are exactly the same. Facing each other, facing apart, both facing forward, both facing back. All four of those different looks work with both these strollers. So other than the bassinet or the car seat, they are comparable with configurations.
Yeah. A couple more aesthetic things. The City Select from the side, if you look at that compared to this, or excuse me, the Mockingbird from the side compared to the City Select has much bigger wheels. The tires are both bigger and thicker than the Mockingbird, which would really only mean it could be a little better for off-roading if you were going down any sort of bumps or cobblestone streets or anything like that. It would be a little bit better. However, the Mockingbird has like a built-in shock absorption system that we never have had any problems with pushing that over any sort of bumps. And we lived in a neighborhood that had a lot of cracked sidewalks, and we didn't have any issues with that. So bigger tires for sure, slightly longer frame on the City Select, but we haven't noticed anything with that. Both of them fit through a single doorway with no problem, and can have a pretty similar turning radius on being able to adjust for how they swing.
Another thing you might want to compare are the baskets underneath. We actually had a City Mini stroller originally, and it had the smallest basket ever, but the City Select has a pretty big basket. One thing that's different is that you have to unzip this thing to really get in there, and it extends it a little bit. I will say that the Mockingbird basket is a lot easier to get into, and it is larger. It can fit a full yoga mat from front to back.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger. We've been able to fit a nice kickball in there. I'm not sure we could get a kickball underneath this bar on the City Select.
No, the kickball wouldn't fit in here.
Yes. That stroller, the Mockingbird has a unique hidden pocket on the side that is actually very cool for if you want to put your phone or your wallet or your keys or anything when you stop at the playground or anything.
It's really
like
quite
that.
hidden. Yeah. The next area that there's a few different differences are in the canopies of the strollers. So on the Mockingbird you have this flap with a peekaboo, which I complained about in our first video, flapped around, and since then they've added a magnet. So now it stays in place, and the mesh in the Canopy is just mesh, so that you can get really good airflow.
On the City Select, they also have the peekaboo, and they have the magnets as well. However, the difference is that while there's a mesh, there's also a plastic film, which means you can see through it, but there's not going to be any sort of airflow. I'm not sure how much airflow matters from the top when this is going to be mostly closed.
It's just a difference.
But it is a difference.
It is a small difference.
This would allow you to theoretically have this open with a drizzle and see your baby, but not your baby get wet.
So another difference between these canopies is that the Mockingbird canopy has a zipper. And I actually do this a lot, especially in the bassinet. So you can pull it up and it's that mesh again, and it lets the airflow go through. I think this is important when it's hot out in the summer. It really lets the breeze go through. I think it makes a big difference inside there.
For sure. Plus our son loves to turn around and look at us through that.
He does.
This one, the City Select does not have that aspect in the back here, so you can't actually see through that. There is a, if you do unvelcro it a little bit, you can configure it with this some sort of meshy thing back here, but I'm not sure that that's how it's supposed to function properly exactly. Another big difference with the seats themselves, this is a very unique aspect that we've talked about with the Mockingbird, is that down here it does have the unzippable crumb tray that you can unzip, dump out if your kid has spilled a goldfish, and
or the little
you
sticks
can clean that out. The City Select does not have that. Your crumbs are going to stick in the bottom there. It allows you to push it out like this, but
so it's fine.
It's fine.
This is just better.
They're basically comparable.
Yeah,
but
a little bit better.
I like the Mockingbird side.
So then let's talk about the handles. We already shared how the Mockingbird has the leather handles, but it's also adjustable to different heights. So if you're really short, you can make it low like this, or if you have really long arms, that might be better for you too. And it comes all the way up, and it can come really high too. So depending on how you like to hold your arms, there's infinite options in the whole swing, like 180-degree swing there.
Mockingbird can adjust the angle. The City Select cannot adjust the angle, but it can adjust the height. So if you are longer, you can, or have longer arms, you can have it way down, or if you're shorter, you can have it down. If you are tall, you can have it up if you need to, or if you need to be back a little bit from the stroller for any reason.
Yeah. So not necessarily one better than the other, just a difference.
Yeah. The buckles and shoulder straps are basically the same in terms of protection. They both clip on from the side. No real difference. As is with life, Morgan had to step away to grab the baby, but let me show you how to fold these two strollers. So both of them do need the bottom seat to come off in order to be able to fold it. With the City Select, you push the buttons down and you lift it off. With the Mockingbird, you push the buttons in from the side and then you lift it off. Both of them, you can leave in the adapters that lift the seat up, and you can still fold it with no problem. With the City Select, when it's time to fold it, you grab both sides on here. There's two big words that say fold. You lift those up and then fold the stroller in half. It does lock into place at some point if you get it in the right spot. There we go. And it's got a latch that you actually have to do physically, manually yourself to latch it into place. But this stroller folds, but it does not have a way to stand on its upper side. So you have to lay it down on its side. With the Mockingbird, the folding mechanism is a one-handed mechanism in the back. You push a latch to the side, pull a button, and push down. It's a one-handed latch, and when you push it together, right here, it clicks into place on its own. You don't have to do the fold to latch into place like the City Select. And here, as you can see, it is standing upright on its own. You don't have to lay it down. You fold it one-handed, click it into place, and it just sits there. No problem. Very smooth. This, to stand it back up, you pull the lever, and you unfold it. With the City Select, you put it back, you reach in, you unclip the latch, and then you unfold it. So both of them are fairly simple to fold, but the Mockingbird has a one-handed fold and it latches on its own. The City Select has a two-handed fold and you have to latch it yourself. I would give that a pro to the Mockingbird for sure.
So another thing that you might consider when you are looking at strollers are the accessories that you can add on. They both have a lot of accessories, and Mockingbird is a newer company and they keep coming out with more accessories. They both have snack trays, strap-on cup holders. One thing that the Mockingbird actually comes with standard that you have to pay additional for the City Select is the cover. So it's like a rain cover, bug cover, that kind of thing. It's a fabric mesh material, and I use that a lot to keep the sun out of the baby's eyes. That comes standard with every Mockingbird seat. We didn't get that with the City Select, so that's an additional add-on. But the only accessory that the City Select has available that Mockingbird does not have available is a glider board for an older child to stand on. And I know that Mockingbird keeps saying on Instagram that they are working on a gliding board. So by the time you see this, that might even be available. But as of now, November 2020, Mockingbird does not have a gliding board. But every other accessory that City Select has, Mockingbird has. And I will list all of those out with their prices in the blog post for this review.
Yeah, so let's talk about the total price. So that's a great thing. One thing that attracted us to the Mockingbird when we first purchased it is that it is a lower cost alternative to some of the higher end strollers, and it really hit on all the major points of the higher cost strollers, yet is actually better in a lot of places. So all in with the second seat, the City Select is about $150 more than the Mockingbird with a second seat. To us, that is absolutely not worth it. The Mockingbird is a great deal, not only that it's cheaper, but it also has some key features that we think are way better and set it apart from strollers like the City Select. So to us, the price is way a good deal to go with the Mockingbird. And you are not cutting any corners, you are not cutting any quality. It is an absolutely amazing stroller.
Yeah, we have a 2-year-old and we have a newborn. Well, she's 3 months old now. And we have used a Mockingbird for our 2-year-old pretty much his whole life since he was about 5 months old. And we really, really love it. This is a totally good stroller. I would be glad if someone gave me one. But if I was going to pick one, and I did pick one, I picked the Mockingbird. And I'd stick through that. It's cheaper and looks nicer and has better features.
Yeah. So quality on both sides, but you save a lot more money using the Mockingbird. That would be our choice between these two particular strollers. So make sure you do follow along with us. Check out our reviews of the Mockingbird Single and the Single to Double by itself. Talks a little bit more about some of the more individual features of the Mockingbird and gets a little bit more in depth instead of comparing them, plus lots of other great features.
Have a great afternoon. Bye.